The Paralympic hero turned killer, Oscar Pistorius, is being released after spending over 8 years in prison for murdering his girlfriend.
Yes, on Valentine's Day in 2013, the double amputee athlete shot model and law graduate Riva Steenkamp 4 times through their bathroom door.
He'll be subject to strict supervision restrictions until his sentence ends in 2029. Our reporter Charlie Peters has this report.
The killing stunned the country. The 27-year-old Olympian was an inspirational figure in South Africa, regularly dubbed the greatest national hero since Nelson Mandela. But on Valentine's Day 2013, Oscar Pistorius became a murder suspect. Pistorius argued that he believed a dangerous intruder hid behind the door. The prosecution contended that Steenkamp, a 29-year-old model, had fled there after a row erupted in the night. The televised trial split global opinion. Some saw the poster boy as a cold-blooded killer. Others sympathised with the raw emotion he displayed in the court. The so-called Blade Runner regularly cried in court, with the prosecution accusing him of deploying crocodile tears to distract from questioning. Pistorius was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter, but an appeal ruled him to be a murderer. The court agreed that Pistorius shot with the intent to kill, but whether he knew the victim was his girlfriend, they couldn't say. Last year he was granted parole after serving half of his sentence, but Steenkamp's mother warned that he was not remorseful or rehabilitated. Her family wanted him to stay in jail.
You as a family believe that you have not been
his story. We don't believe his story.
The Pistorius released on parole today is expected to be unrecognisable to the athlete who entered prison in 2013. He will now trade a jail cell for a garden cottage in a guarded compound at his wealthy uncle's estate. And as Pistorius starts his new life, Riva Steenkamp's mother will continue to grieve for the memory of her daughter who had her life and her dreams brutally taken from her. Charlie Peters, GB News.
It's just a tragic story, isn't it? Well,
yeah, absolutely.
Charlie Peters joins us now for more. And Charlie, the more I'm reminded of it, the more shocking it seems. Someone at the height of his global fame, the height of his athletic career, was convicted of doing something so brainless, so aggressive, so murderous as that.
Yes, and the South African correctional establishment saying today that despite his past glories, he will be treated like any other inmate while he's on parole. So those restrictions he has until 2029, no alcohol, no travel or employment without permission, and crucially, no interviews with the media will be observed very strictly. Mr. Pistorius could also face unannounced visits from his parole officers and will be required to stay within the district in Pretoria, where he is reportedly living with a wealthy uncle. He reportedly has a garden cottage in a secure compound there. So his life will now be extremely quiet. And that is also the demand made by the victim's family. Riva Steenkamp's mother, June, said that she now wants to be left in peace as she continues to grieve for her daughter. She said that her family is still facing a life sentence after the horrific murder of their daughter in 2013 on Valentine's Day. That shooting split opinion in South Africa at the time, but the reaction has been more muted today with the release of Mr. Pistorius. Some, however, have said that the release does not send the right signals in South Africa.
Yes.
The country is in the grip of a sexual violence pandemic, really. Some 43,000 cases of sexual assault recorded in the last calendar year. Wow. And some women's groups are saying this isn't the right message to be sending at this time.
Yes, so the parole board, they determined he was fit for social reintegration. Do we understand what the thinking was behind that?
Well, he'd served half his sentence. Now, originally, his sentence was considered too lenient when the Supreme Court upgraded it from culpable homicide, which is the South African variant of manslaughter, to murder. And they also increased his sentence then to some 13 years. So he served over half of that jail cell. But while he was in prison, he reportedly drove a tractor in the gardens. He worked in the library. He also cleaned other inmates' cells. And as part of his rehabilitation outside of jail, he'll be expected to engage with gender violence therapy and dealing with rage issues. But Reeva Steenkamp's family say they don't believe that he is fully rehabilitated, and they have told the public, don't believe his story.
For a cold-blooded murder, 15 years does not sound like a particularly long period of time. It's remarkable that in 2029 these restrictions will be unlifted. No doubt there'll be interviews, perhaps a book. He will be a major celebrity in the world again. It seems like a remarkably short amount of time after his rampage.
Yeah, well, thank you very much indeed, Charlie Peters.